Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. We will start with LSU and Grambling from Saturday night. Look, it's exactly what you would expect. This is not a fair competition on the field when these two teams get together, these two leagues get together. As I said back last week, it was good for the community for LSU and Southern to get together for one day. If Grambling needs to be afforded that opportunity for one day, that's fine. Do I need to see this very often, if ever again? Probably not. And again, I'm not going to dive too deep into what we saw on the field, X's and O's, plays and not plays, because it's just not a fair fight. That's just the end of the discussion. But the other piece to this that we talked about last week is you could tell some things based on coaching decisions. That to me speaks more than, oh, nice 70-yard touchdown there. Oh, you stopped them on their last 8 drives. Like, yeah, I get it. I know how that's going to go. But when you look up there and Logan Diggs is handling the majority of the reps at tailback, I can tell you that that's a change from week 1. And it's frankly the change I expected when Logan Diggs signed to transfer to LSU. I turned on the YouTube footage, said, okay. I thought about what LSU had coming back at running back. That's probably going to be their leading rusher. I felt like he would be the guy. He didn't play at all last week, and I thought that was a little curious. Brian Kelly said wasn't quite ready to practice, but he obviously was this past week. He gets 15 carries, takes over 115 yards, has his first touchdown. As an LSU Tiger, averaged 7.7 yards per carry, and all those statistics don't mean much, other than the fact that I think Logan Diggs is going to be the focal point of the rushing attack for the near future. Now, I think there's a chance moving forward that Caleb Jackson works his way heavily into the rotation. That was word I got on Friday afternoon that, hey, you're going to see a lot of Caleb Jackson in the game on Saturday. And you did. You saw him for 11 carries. And on the kickoff, is he outrunning and out-athleting a bunch of guys that he's significantly more talented than? Yes. But he is big, he is physical, and he does have top-end speed. And I think when you look at the LSU-Florida State game and you realize that was a heavy dose of Josh Williams and Noah Cain, and you look at LSU Grambling and you saw 26 carries between Logan Diggs and Caleb Jackson, I think that's where things are headed. Does that give LSU as talented a running back crew as they had in 2007 or 2011? Are they as talented there as they were in 2015 with Fournette and Geis? No. But do I think they can upgrade there with those two guys moving forward? I do. And I think that's a big piece to take away from this. As far as other starters, Denver Harris started in the game, and I was excited to see that. That's a whole story in and of itself, because when you, and y'all know the Denver Harris story. Y'all know 5-star, down to LSU and A&M, picks A&M, goes there as a knucklehead off the field, plays well for half a season, gets suspended, transfers out. Like, you know that story. And you know that LSU brought him in, and they looked at his background, and they sat down with him multiple times, and they sat down with his family in his camp, and they laid out a plan, and they brought him in for the spring. And you didn't really hear much about Denver Harris in the spring, and figure all is well, and you come back for the fall, and he's out there working with the third team, and you're going, well, why? And I don't know. I don't know if it's because he's not good enough or because they're not happy with the way that he's conducting himself. And when you hear Brian Kelly talk and he say, yeah, he was available in the Florida State game, he didn't play, and then you find out after the Florida State game and in the week prior to Grambling that, hey, he's got to take care of some things and focus on some things and do the things that we expect him to be doing, and he's getting there and all those kind of things, and then he starts. It sounds to me, if I just read all the tea leaves that are there available, that, hey, this is a guy that we think can play, but we're not happy with the way he's conducting himself. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know what he did. Was it the fight at practice? Is it late for stuff or classwork? I don't know what the deal is, but there was some disconnect. And clearly that disconnect was lessened over the week because Denver Harris gets on his Instagram on social media and posts a selfie of himself and says freed, meaning I'm freed from whatever shackles that were there. and you can go play. And he started. Now, he got beat for a touchdown and then had a pass interference, so I wouldn't suggest that he was all world out there. It looked like a guy that was going to solve the secondary woes, but he did play. And then you heard Brian Kelly today in his press conference. He was asked about Denver Harris, and he said, well, look, this is a guy that's just played press coverage. That's all he's played. We want him to press. We want him to bail. We want him to play off. We want to play press to off. We want to do a lot of different things, and he's not necessarily comfortable with it. And I go, okay. There seem to be a lot of different variables here. Behavior, technique, experience, playing time, but he was out there. And trust me, I'll take any corner that wants to go out there and play at this point. And the other guy that stepped in and was something that we didn't see against Florida State and certainly did against Grambling was the addition of Lance Hurd on the right side of the offensive line. And that moves your right guard Miles Frazier out, kicks Emory Jones down, and that's been clearly something they've been looking at for a few weeks now because they did that in the scrimmage that we went to as press back in late August. And this is something I think moving forward that they're going to shift to. Now the question becomes, and this will be something that we talk about all week, hey, okay, that's the look, but are you prepared to do that on the road? And make no mistake, they were on the road last weekend in Orlando, and they will be on the road coming up on Saturday morning in Starkville. Question is Lance Hurd ready to do that? You're going to have the cowbells, you're going to have a veteran defense, bunch of 22-year-olds. Lance Hurd ready for that? Or are you going to stick Frazier at right guard and put Emory Jones out at right tackle and just stick with what you're comfortable with, and maybe against Arkansas at home, where you can hear a little bit better, go with it? I couldn't tell you exactly how Lance Hurd played on Saturday. He's significantly bigger than everybody that Grambling puts out there on the defensive front. And I can't break that down and translate what a right tackle's performance against a SWAC team is against a conference team on the road. That's more than my paid grade's worth here. But I can tell you, based on just the coach's decision to make that happen, that they're certainly giving it a look. And I tend to like it. So it's a long year, man. Bama's got a lot of work to do. A&M's got a lot of work to do. Florida's got a lot of work to do. Auburn's got a lot of work to do. Ole Miss, State, Arkansas, nobody in the West looks awesome. And we'll talk about that at the top of hour number 2. But it's not as if I can sit here after a rough week 1 and then, you got Grambling going down the field 3 straight times in week 2 and you're feeling like the defense really may be in some trouble. And I want to sit back and go, yeah, it hadn't looked very good, but nobody looks great on this side, and everybody's just going to have to fight to get better. And LSU made a lot of strides last year, mid-season. You got to hope that happens once again. I could tell you that LSU went down and scored a touchdown on every single drive they had. I could talk about Jaden Daniels throwing for 5 touchdowns and no picks. Brian Thomas responding to a tough opener with 6 catches and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Anderson getting in the mix. Chris Hilton making a nice play for a touchdown where he wasn't really used. And all that's great. It's all well and good. And it's part of the non-conference games that you're a 50-point favorite in. But I just don't have a lot of interest in spending a lot of time breaking down the X's and O's of the numbers from LSU and Grambling. The band was really cool for Grambling. For those that stayed till halftime or were there, their band's awesome. They can break it down. The dance moves were on point. Sounded great. Looked awesome. I enjoyed the band. Football team, well, probably shouldn't be playing LSU. But they did, and LSU got through it. The one injury that we did see in the game was Mason Taylor, who came out, and that allowed Kamorian Pimpton to get in there, make his first catch as a Tiger. Allowed Mac Markway to get in and make a catch as well. But Mason Taylor is listed as probable moving forward. Brian Kelly did say that. So hopefully he's able to go on Saturday. The other injury update he gave was Omar Spates, who he said was probable. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.